All right, everybody. So last video I talked a little bit. I ended it talking about a slightly more happy vibe, a slightly more happy subject, and I figure I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if in the 90 or some odd videos, I don't know if I've talked about it at all. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't really remember. But right around the middle of our journey through cancer, Brittany picked up a hobby, like a really fun hobby, something that she really enjoyed. And she was poking around on YouTube one day and she found this thing. She's like, I bet I can get into this. And it's paint pouring. For those of you that don't know, it's essentially where you mix acrylic paint with a pouring medium. It's basically, it kind of thins out the paint and makes it flow a lot more. So you take multiple colors of paint and you upend them over a canvas, and the canvas, makes all these like swirls and like designs and whatnot, like as the paint shifts and settles and kind of moves throughout. So it's very chaotic. It's very random, and it was really nice whenever Brittany found this hobby, and she was like, I think I want to get into this. I think I want to do this. And I was so excited because the girl had no hobbies. So I encouraged her, and she bought a bunch of supplies. And as usual, Brittany, being the businesswoman she is, every little detail about, she studied doing them, and then figured out how to monetize them, and figured out how to sell them, and make money from doing it. And I think she did buy the supplies, and she did buy a bunch of paint and stuff like that. And I think she enjoyed coming up with the business model more than she enjoyed actually doing the paintings. But she did several of them throughout her time, and she made one for me. She made one for her, like kind of in her business colors, and then she had planned on doing quite a few and giving them to family members and stuff like that. She only made about 4 or 5. And they're really pretty. I love the concepts that she was doing, but I really wish she could have done more of them. Heck, I would have filled the house with them if she did. But nevertheless, she didn't. So, when she passed, I was desperate for ways to get closer to her, for that connection that is no longer there. So I decided that, me being the artsy type of guy, and painting is not far from my alley, I decided that I would try to do the paint pouring too. And I went to YouTube. I did a couple crash courses and reading, and did a little bit of looking and see how to do it. And then I just started running with it. And that became a really big art project of mine, was this idea that by doing these, I could, in a sense, capture some of the essence of the things that my wife was doing and be closer to her, all while grieving and expressing, myself on the canvas, right? Which I found really interesting because like I loved it. I absolutely love paint pouring, and I still do. And for those of you that have followed along, you've probably noticed this by now, but I'm very like there's a lot of randomness in sort of the way I conduct myself, and I personally enjoy just sort of the zigs and zags of life and chaos incarnate, whatever. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that from an aesthetic sense. And paint pouring is exactly that. It's embracing the paints literally running whatever direction gravity chooses, and they go everywhere. So it was this really cool way for me to not only retain my own individuality, but also reconnect with Brittany. And I did a lot. I probably did close to 20 or so before I kind of tapered off. I'm going to do some more, and I'm going to talk about why here in a minute. Well, I guess I probably should show you a few of them, shouldn't I? All right. So you might notice my hallway here. I have a ton of these guys going up all over the place. And I'm going to show you some of Brittany's firsts. These two are the two that Brittany did right at the very beginning whenever she was doing these. They're kind of her business colors. This one she did quote unquote for me because I really like the darker sort of aspects, like the darker greens and the golds. I think were really cool, and Milo's doing his thing. This next one down here, it's looks a little bit like Jupiter. She got into this one, and she really enjoyed the patterns, and she did a few more. She did this guy, which I really enjoy, and she did these two right here, which I think are also really pretty. Whenever I got into this, the very next one that I did, or the very first one I did, was this. I wanted to experiment with her colorings and her, okay, what is me doing this while trying to imitate her colors? I think I imitated that one up there. There's a top one, so I played around with that. But the rest of these were just sort of my own nonsensical creations. Me playing around with color and form and just shape and trying different things, trying different techniques. Didn't really make any of them for anything, except for one that's not featured here. And I will talk more about that one in the next video. And also we probably should talk about this guy right here in the center. For those of you that have joined us in the journey, you know that Brittany, one of Brittany's last events that she ever went out in public for was a painting class that was put on by our church, and they were painting Christmas trees. And she went and she did this tree, and she tried to follow along, and she did pretty well. And then she just kind of got I think she got overwhelmed, and she was like, I'm just gonna paint normal trees, and she did. So that's kind of what's going on. At a certain point, I got tired of them just sitting in the hallway, not hanging up. So I decided, they weren't sitting in the hallway. They were sitting in a back room, not hanging up. But I decided that I would hang them up on the wall, and I have. And any more that I make will be hung up additionally, either down there or up there. So yeah, I'm gonna flip the camera around now. All right, so why am I talking about all this? All right, and I mentioned that there are several others, or there are a couple more that I'm going to make here very soon. And you'll notice behind me that I have removed two of her photos off the wall. They are of our wedding. They have been up since before she passed. I made the decision to start kind of pushing forward a little bit there, and I wanted to see how I felt about taking those down. And I took them down from this location and I moved them to a different location. They're actually still up. They're just not in the living room where she passed away. And I think as time goes on, I will continue to as time continues to go on, I'll continue to develop and continue to see how I feel about the photos and the closeness and everything. I'm not getting over this. I'm not, I'm not in any way, shape, or form is this like I'm forgetting Brittany, but it's just a process, a step in the direction of healing. And to be honest, I don't really think the photos of us up, and look, I still have one up over there, by the front door. I don't think the photos are an oppressive force. I really don't think they are, but since I have removed them, I have been more free. I have been less sad. And that might just be a timing thing. And maybe it's all coalescing together at the same time. The pictures aren't necessarily causing the feel better. The feel better isn't the reason why I took down the photos. Just maybe it's just kind of part and parcel. I don't know. But anyway, whenever I moved those photos, I looked at the wall and go, you know what? Like, I might have moved the photos, but I need to put something up on the walls, man. That's Brittany had, like, if Brittany had never been in the situation, had never been in the picture, these walls would be blank. There'd be nothing on the walls. I have no reason to hang up anything anywhere. I'm very utilitarian, right? I don't think in terms of decoration. I don't think in terms of, oh, that would look nice. Like, I just don't. But I think being with Brittany has softened me a little bit, or maybe has given me a little bit of culture. I don't know. You pick the term. Because now I look at the wall and I'm like, there needs to be some photos there. So what I think I'm going to do, I am going to do two of the paint pourings. I've got some really large canvases, bigger than those, and I think I'm going to do one for me and one for her, and put one on one side of the wall and on one side of the llamas, and put the other on the other side of the llamas. And for those of you who've been with us for a long time, you know about the llamas, the inside joke with the llamas. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do one for her, and a lot of the colors that I kind of associate with her and just sort of my feelings, and then I think I'm gonna do one sort of for me in a sense. I'm not sure well, I guess I will do one that sort of represents me and hang them up and just sort of have them there on either side, just kind of filling up the space in the room. And I think it'll be a nice way for me to kind of replace the absence of space, and also doing sort of like an homage to or a head nod to the fact that those photos were there, and the feelings that were associated with them and the meaning that was there, while not necessarily being photos of our wedding day, and its depth and its the pain associated, the love associated. So by moving them a little bit, I think, I don't know, it's still kind of jarring having those pictures moved, but I think having something up like that would still be nice, and I just kind of want to. So I think it'll be nice. It'll be important, and I'm kind of looking forward to see what happens and what comes out. So I'm sure we'll talk about that, or you'll hear all about that whenever that comes up. So last but not least, like I said, the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because in the next video, I have to talk about paint pouring, and I have to talk about something fairly specific that happens with that. So the next part of my journaling that I'm doing, I talk about it, and there's some really cool stuff that happens because of those paintings and the paint pourings. And I'll provide some pictures of that either at the end of this video or in the next video. I know I've got some pictures or video or something of that one, so we'll get there. But I think that does it for this little video. Kind of short, and not a lot of super emotional depth here, but still pretty cool. Just something that I related to my wife, and she really enjoyed, and I really loved being a part of, and celebrate. I love having the ability to celebrate that with her, even though she's no longer here. So yeah, Myers out.